Everything changed this morning. Out of nowhere, Wang Yibo was rushed to the hospital in an emergency that left staff shaken and fans terrified. Witnesses say the moment was sudden, frightening, and completely unexpected. But what really happened to him? Why did he collapse so suddenly? And why are insiders now revealing details that made fans even more emotional? Stay with me all the way to the end, because the truth behind this morning's emergency will shock you. It all started before sunrise. Yibo arrived early, pushing himself as always, but today, he didn't look okay. His face was pale, his movements slow, and he kept pressing his chest as though something wasn't right. Staff begged him to rest, but he forced a smile and continued practicing. Then, without warning, he collapsed. The room exploded into panic. His manager rushed to his side, calling his name, shaking him gently, but he wasn't responding. Staff cried, security cleared the hallways, and within minutes he was carried out and rushed to the hospital. As the vehicle sped away, social media erupted. Millions of fans begged for answers. And finally, the truth came out. Exhaustion. Overwork. Stress. His body simply couldn't handle the endless schedules anymore. When he finally woke up, the first thing he said wasn't about himself. He whispered, "Did I delay today's schedule?" Even in a hospital bed, he was worried about work. This moment showed everyone that he gives more than people even realize. And today, one message echoed across the entire fandom: Wang Yibo, please rest. We care about you more than the schedule. If you're watching this, send him your love. And remember, our favorite stars are human too. This morning, the entire entertainment industry was shaken when news suddenly broke that Wang Yibo had been rushed to the hospital at dawn. Fans were barely waking up when the shocking updates spread like wildfire across social media. No one saw it coming. No one expected the calm, quiet morning to turn into a scene of panic and confusion. It all began when staff members noticed that something wasn't right with him. He had arrived earlier than everyone else, as always, dedicated, focused, and determined to get ahead of his schedule. But today, he looked unusually pale. His steps were slower. His breathing heavier. One staff member said he kept pressing his chest as if trying to relieve some kind of discomfort, but when they asked him whether he was okay, he simply forced a smile and continued walking toward the practice room. Minutes later, people nearby heard a loud noise, something falling, something hitting the floor. When they rushed inside, they found Wang Yibo collapsed on the ground. His manager dropped everything and ran to him, shaking him gently and calling his name, but he didn't respond immediately. For a moment, everyone felt their hearts stop. The room filled with panic. A makeup artist broke into tears while another staff member ran out to call for emergency support. They tried to lift him carefully, and even though he regained a bit of consciousness, he was barely able to speak. His breathing was shallow, his eyes half open, and he looked exhausted beyond imagination. Within minutes, security cleared a path and he was rushed straight into a waiting vehicle. Witnesses described the scene as terrifying, staff running beside the stretcher, his manager making calls with shaking hands, and the usually calm set now drowned in chaos and fear. As the car drove off at full speed, updates began hitting Weibo. Fans panicked instantly. Hashtags shot to the top of the trending list within minutes. What happened to Wang Yibo? Is Yibo okay? The hours after Wang Yibo was admitted into the hospital were some of the longest and most frightening moments his team had ever experienced. His manager sat outside the emergency room, pacing back and forth, unable to calm down. Every minute felt like an hour. Every passing doctor made his heart race. He kept replaying the morning in his mind, Yibo collapsing, the gasp from staff, the panic in everyone's eyes, the way Yibo's body went limp in his arms. It didn't feel real. He had seen Yibo exhausted before, but never like this. Nurses continued moving in and out of the room, checking monitors, adjusting 4 drips, and whispering instructions to each other. The mood was tense. Even the hospital staff, who were trained to stay calm, seemed affected by the weight of the moment. Meanwhile, online, fans refused to sleep. They stayed glued to their screens, refreshing every minute, hoping for even the smallest update about his condition. Some fans recorded themselves crying, saying they had never been this scared before. Others left messages begging his agency to protect him better, accusing them of overworking him. The entire internet was awake. And silent. Waiting. Back inside the hospital, Yibo's closest assistant, who had been with him for years, sat quietly with red eyes. She blamed herself. She said she should have noticed earlier, she should have insisted that he rest, she should have told him no when he tried to continue working even though he was clearly worn out. His manager placed a hand on her shoulder and whispered, "He never listens when he's tired. He always hides it. He thinks stopping makes him weak." She wiped her tears and whispered, "But he's not weak, he's human." Hours later, when the doctor finally stepped out of the room, everyone froze. His manager rushed forward and asked, "Is he okay?" The doctor let out a soft breath. "He's stable," he said, "but he's extremely exhausted." His blood pressure dropped, his body was dehydrated. Night slowly fell over the city, but the hospital hallway outside Wang Yibo's room remained bright and tense. His team hadn't moved from their seats. His manager sat slumped forward, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor with a heaviness that hadn't left since the moment Yibo collapsed. His assistant clutched a cup of cold coffee she hadn't touched. Other staff members whispered quietly, afraid to disturb the fragile calm. Even the nurses walked more softly than usual, as if they understood the emotional weight hanging in the air. Inside the room, the soft rhythm of the monitor echoed against the walls. Yibo lay sleeping, his breathing steady but weak, his face still pale under the dim lights. A blanket covered him up to his chest, and the 4 drip beside him dripped steadily, as if reminding everyone how fragile he really was beneath his strong image. Hours passed before he finally stirred. His eyes opened slowly, unfocused at first, then clearer. He blinked a few times, confused about where he was, trying to piece together everything that had happened. His assistant immediately rushed to his side, softly calling, "Yibo? You're awake." He turned his head slightly, his voice barely above a whisper. "How long?" "Almost the whole day," she said, trying to smile even though her eyes were red. "You scared everyone." He looked around, noticing the machines, the wires on his arm, the dark circles under her eyes. "I didn't mean to," she quickly shook her head. "Don't say that. You're human, Yibo. You collapsed because you were exhausted. You need rest." But he didn't reply. His eyes drifted toward the window, where faint lights from outside flickered into the room. He looked lost in thought, like he was battling something silently inside himself. Minutes later, his manager walked in quietly. When he saw Yibo awake, relief washed over his face, but it was mixed with frustration and sadness. He stepped closer. "You finally woke up, how are you feeling? Let me ask you, after seeing everything Wang Yibo went through, do you think he should finally take a long break from work?" Comment your thoughts below, I'm reading every single one. And if you want to know what happened next in this emotional story, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Thank you for watching till the end, your support means more than you know.